Nigeria. Welcome to the Man of Thought. How are we all doing today? Yebo. Um, Today tends to be Friday. Some people will be expecting to get funky Fridays. Let me put out something here and see if people are going to be engaging with the conversation. Um, does God give a partner or humans find finds partner? Gives. Secondly, humans find. Mhm. So thank you for those who are joining me. If we are going, this is just a conversation that we most likely might dive into, or there is a possibility that we might not go into the conversation. I'm just putting out because most especially the reason why I came live is to just hear from the audience. Today tends to be Friday. How are you all doing today? I hope my audio is fine enough for you to hear me. Please, if it's not loud enough, let me know. If there's any other subject you want us to touch on, this is just something that I looked up to today. I looked up to this particular conversation today, but I don't know if it is that important. I wouldn't have even decided to come live, but I'm just like, I have to be here for my audience today, and let's see how it goes. How was your weekend? How was your weekdays? Please, if you're joining me, try and double tap your screen to show some likes. Yeah. Today's conversation is not so much a must that we dive into it. Today's conversation is just like whatever we want to discuss on. If you're free and you want to discuss whatever bothers you, we can talk about it. And if you want us to dive into the conversation, then you have to engage with what I put on the poll. Hello, everyone. I had to increase the mic a little bit. Yeah, good evening, everyone. If you're joining me, please do double tap your screen and show some likes. Would you want us to dive into today's conversation? Thanks for joining. Double tap your screen if you want us to go into today's conversation. Show some likes. If you also have any other thing you would like us to discuss on, feel free to address whatever is bothering you and we can flow with that. Happy Friday. Those who want to go do watch, what do they call it? Funky Friday. There are a lot of episode, a lot of program that will be coming up today that tends to be Friday. So most likely, I'm only interested in just hearing from the audience. But perhaps there's a discussion we would like to have. Then let's go towards that direction. But at least before we dive into the conversation, then you have to double tap your screen and show some likes. Okay, one person has actually shown us a like. Please, if there's anything bothering you and you want us to talk about it, let me know. If you want us to further on today's conversation regarding what I put on the poll, also double tap your screen and notify me. Hello, Mr. Rusty. Good day, sir. Yes, I just did that for someone in my community. He's just starting a business, and he said he once paid someone to help him do some promo, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on something. So I just did it and I uploaded it. I was like, okay, maybe I will work on some things and then forward it to people, put it on Instagram and kind of monetize so he can just have some clients. Even I'm not done working on it. I'm just like, let me upload it. 24 News says that it's both God give and humans have to find it too. Amazing. I was asking a question, and I think what I put on the poll is that does God gives a partner? No, no, I wasn't getting a sponsorship. I was just trying to help someone out. So on today's conversation, hello Lisa, how are you doing? Hope you're having a great time. I'm putting out a question on the poll. 24 News says that it's both God that gives and human have to find it too. You're welcome, ma'am. So, what are also your perception on the idea of relationship? Does God give us a partner, or do we have to find a partner? Yeah, thank you. My audience will not kill me before my time. I would have put on my fan with the solar box. Yeah. Lisa has a different perception at the moment. Maybe not that different, but in a way, our mind is open to a different perspective. But trust me, sometimes when things does not go into as we plan or as we expect, sometimes we make decisions to hold on to our viewpoint that we have in the past. But I think the doom side of humans is to choose a path and you think that there's no possibility of you actually working on your perspective in life. So the question for the day is, does God give partner or do humans find a partner? Does God give us partner or is it the responsibility of humans to find partner? You know, one of the things that is out there is that many people believe that God plays a role in guiding them to a life partner. But opinions always vary and it's always depending on faith and sometimes personal beliefs. And in many religious contexts, it is always thought that God can help bring two people together. In the religious context, it is always thought that God can bring two people together. But some people also have this thought that individuals also have free will and the responsibility to make wise decisions in their relationship. So if humans can make wise decisions in their relationship and God gives you, and God also makes the decision to give you a partner, is that not confusing? Why would God give you a partner and why can humans also have the free will to find a partner? That looks as if they are not working together. If I can have a free will to make the right choice and God is giving me the right partner, maybe it is either one. Either I don't need God or I don't need my free will. One of it. Rusty says, if God gives me partner, next time give me a receipt so I can send them back. So maybe I rephrase my statement a little bit so we know exactly where we are going. I said earlier that many people believe that God plays a role in guiding them to a life partner. But I think that opinions vary depending on people's faith and personal convictions or beliefs. And that should be in many religious contexts, most likely cultural or traditions. It is thought that God can bring two people together. If God can bring two people together, and then individuals also have free will and the responsibility to make wise decisions in their relationship, do you actually need God when you can make wise decisions? Some see it as God's blessing when they find the right person, while others believe that relationships are built through effort, communications, and shared values. So the questions today is, what are your thoughts, my audience? Peaceful Lambatuosh says that bonjour de France Paris. Bonjour monsieur. Comment ça va? Ça va bien, merci. We have a topic we are discussing. Mr. Rusty says that God never imagined Tinder being a thing. Early this morning, while we were having some episode, we talked about uh, consciousness. Something drove us towards the path of consciousness. And I think I explained consciousness to a particular degree. 24 News says that there are many influences in the world. Don't allow Bad things don't allow God will to work. Human have more to do. There are many influences in the world. Bad things don't allow God will to work. Humans have more to do. Pascal Lemblou says that, okay, merci beaucoup. Thank you for joining. Rusty says God gave us free will, so would be then put. What is wrong with my English language this evening? So God gave us free will, so would he then put people together? God gave us free will, so would he then put people together? Amazing. Amazing. Oh yeah. Man versus God. God's will versus man's will. Some people believe that men have will. Some people believe that there's what we call God's will. So what is our perception on it? Is there any method or is there any thought why some people's relationship are flourishing in most environments than some other people? And if it is working in few culture or traditions, then some other culture and tradition, is it because of God? Do they know God more than the other people? Or is it because they understand the principle to make something work? Trust me, we have too many intelligent people in today's world. About 82% of people says that God gives a partner. 18% says humans find a partner. And let us assume, since the 82% are the ones who are the highest bidder, if God gives, how do you find what God has given to you? How do you find what God has actually given to you? If God has given you a partner, if God gives partner, how do you find or how do you receive the partner that God has given to you? Question number 2. Rusty says, yeah, they can blame God, then when it all goes wrong, that's why. Me, I don't have anything to say. Oh, let me just see what people have to say before I come out with my own opinion. Please, for those people who agree that God gives partner, how do we find or how do we receive what God wants to give us as a partner? In fact, how do we know that what God has given to us, we have not misplaced it, or we have not met the individual? Or if God give you a partner, will God and you divorce or separate yourself from the partner, would God give you another partner? Is he going to create another partner for you? Or does God give option A, B, C when it comes to the idea of partner? This is a time for us to reflect. Rusty says blasphemers have wives. Would God have given them wives when it's the eternal sin? 24 hours, Lisa, and the rest co-debater. Okay, 24 hours, I think, is one of my African brother. He says that this is African, bro. There is not much love and unity in the society, so it will be hard to find human. We hope on God to help us out. Okay, in one way, 24 hours has shifted his perception a little bit to say that there's a problem with humanity and society. So now, hopefully, there is a magic by God to help us out of the situation. The Western people will say, when shit hits the fan, who do you cry upon? God or society? I'm just asking questions. I'm learning to see the perceptions of people. You see, our result and our perspective are the same. If our life does not go towards the direction we want it to go, it is basically because our perceptions could be wrong. Right perceptions leads to right actions. Right actions leads to right results. Some people believe that God gives partner. And I'm asking a question, if God gives partner, how do we find and receive what God has given to us? How do we know also that what God has given to us, we have not already married, dated, and received what God has given to us, and we have separated ourselves? And if we have separated ourselves from what God has given to us, will God recreate another person for us? Mama, what you are cooking in the kitchen is disturbing my. And what's not entering the room? What's not entering the room? Uh-huh. Ah. Rusty says that I think if we wait on God to give us partner, we would get used to life to a life alone. It's like sitting at home and expecting one to fall on your lap. If we go all biblical, then God is everything. So technically, yes, God gives us a partner, I suppose. All I can say about this is that God made a mistake initially, and man blamed God for making that mistake. Going back to the idea of the Garden of Eden, let us use, for the sake of those who don't know more than King James Version and the 66 Bible, or what do we call it, the 66 books of the Bible, in the idea of Adam and Eve. So many people believe that God gave Eve to Adam. Though some people do not understand that Adam had two wives. If we go towards that direction, a lot of people will be shocked. Adam actually had two wives, but for the sake of the people who already know Genesis to Revelation, Rusty says Lilith. That's the second wife of that's the first wife of Adam. Eve was the second. So for the sake of those who only read Genesis to Revelation, even the Eve that was given to Adam, Adam blamed God after Eve made him commit the sin. God can only, in my perception, we all can only ask ourselves a question that when Abraham was looking for a wife for his son, Isaac, did God actually choose a wife, or was Abraham looking for someone that fits into the profile of Isaac? Let me not read that out before YouTube gets angry. You know, YouTube these days, they find every means necessary to demonetize. Uh, but I get your picture, and I know others do. I think, in my perception, there is no one who has been able to get somebody good in their life and are not deliberate in getting that person. You cannot find a good partner in your life without being specifically deliberate in the actions of the kind of person you want. If you hope on God to give you a husband, if you hope on God to give you a partner, you've already lost the battle before you even begin. The idea of partner simply means one who fits your vision. How do you know that you have the right vision? The only time your vision is right, it is when your vision is based on selfless act and the pure act of love. Or else, your vision will look like Bill Gates, thinking that the world's population is too much. Rusty says, if I want a woman from the street, God ain't giving me that, but 10 pounds. If I want a holy woman, I suppose God can bring people together just by shared interest. Absolutely. 79% of people believe that God gives partner. And it's a painful, I wouldn't call it painful, but we have to be able to learn to understand that if we want something in life, the moment you are born, the ability to make choice is all in our hands. Some people, we deceive ourselves and we say, God gave me a purpose. There's a purpose to my life. Now, the purpose to every man's life is to live and die. The work of your hand is what matters later. Say the purpose of my life is so I can deliver people. The purpose of my life is so I can save a lot of people. The purpose, no. You don't have any purpose that special. Your purpose is to live and to die. The plants do not have purpose but to live, to produce fruit, and to die. Everyone, you just fulfill a biological standpoint. You do what is good and your work will speak for itself. Absolutely. The moment we realize the truth about life, the moment we realize our responsibility as people, we would not jeopardize the choices that we make. Most times when a lot of people have the idea that God give this, God give that, God hasn't given any man anything. God hasn't given any man anything. Man has been the one making decisions for themselves. The only thing God has given mankind has been choice. Since the beginning of time, men make different choices for themselves. In fact, we would say that the future of humanity does not lie in the hands of God, but lies in the decisions we make as humans. Rusty says, I know why monks exist. It's a big F you to God by saying that you would not burden me with a woman. Jordan Wells says, well, it depends on how you look at it. Okay, you can give me a different perception. I love to learn. I love to learn. Someone said it's about how we decide to look at it. And I'm like, perception actually matters in life. It does. Perception actually matters in life. He said most choices human made has been what? Bull following a religion. Yes, there's a purpose of religion. Let me say this. The purpose behind religion is for those who cannot think for themselves. The purpose behind religion is to guide those who cannot think properly. Let me rephrase that statement. The purpose of religion is for those who cannot think properly for themselves, or those who cannot make right choices for themselves. The religion becomes the institution to model a lot of people who cannot understand the world. I believe one thing a lot of us can agree, if you are an independent thinker, is that there's too many fools on the surface of this earth. When I use the word fools, it is not an abusive term. It is a term to say that people, certain peoples cannot actually make good choices or good decisions for themselves, or think properly or make the right choice for themselves. Said you said religion is for people who can think for themselves. LOL, I get told off for saying that. Absolutely. Words for me, whatever I have to say doesn't even freak me at all. Words for me has no pressure. It has no pressure. It has no pressure. You block my channel, I open another channel. It's that simple. If I don't feel like opening the channel, I speak to the people who are willing to listen to the truth. And I would say this, there is nothing wrong for people having religion, because there's a purpose for education. The purpose for having institutions that are educations is to guide the youth to know how to think for themselves. If not because of the government hijacking the institution or the positive impact of education and mobilizing it to program people, it would have been a better way. Jordan Wells says that no religion isn't for fools, given that all of us are fools on certain topics. Absolutely. Absolutely. Rusty says that I will tell you one big thing: God is everywhere, answers are everywhere, but we instead seek answer from a book because we are tiny and insignificant. According to what Jordan Wells says, she says no. Religions, religion isn't for fools, given that all of us are fools on certain topics. Let me say this. There are principles that have always existed, and those principles are not only in religious subjects. I know most religious people do not understand about the Sumerian tablets. You do not understand about the Egyptian mystery. You do not understand things about the Anunnakis. You do not understand a lot of all these things. So the only thing you came to understand was religion. Religion was not to teach people certain kind of practice to say this is how you must view life. Unfortunately, the problem with religion is to emphasize on the fact that this is exactly what life is, and these are the principles, and this is how God actually exists. Such mentality box people into one particular corner. There are things that are already existing before religion. Number one, certain people have recorded a lot of history, and like I told you earlier, from the Sumerian tablets, from the Egypt mystery, from the Indians, there are a lot of religious context to a lot of things. You ask, do you understand about those things? Yes, I do. Now, for a lot of us who talk about the idea of religion, religion is specifically part of history. Yes, I do. The only reason why I come to when I come on live, I speak based off what I understand my audience can be able to grasp. If I start talking about Sumerian tablets and Anunnakis, most people would not understand what I'm saying. When I talk about the lost book of the Bible and Ethiopian Bible, a lot of people do not understand what I'm saying. And so I don't want to confuse my audience saying things that they cannot understand. My brother from Africa says, God is sufficient for all, even Babalawo they call God. God is a belief. Absolutely. Absolutely. Charles Bunleb, welcome. Been a while. Okay, Lisa talks about the Atlantis. In a way, they do. Life is a mystery. Life is a mystery. And you see, when I begin to talk about things in the Bible, you know, exactly when we started, I and Rusty emphasized on something about Adam having two wives, which is Lilith and okay, you said no, life is a circle. We can give it different description. Knowledge is one thing, but wisdom, that's the book that's the book teaches us. I think some things are not appearing completely. Life is geometrical. In a way, the beauty about life is this: we can never see things on the complete aspect of life itself. No one, no one can actually see the complete side of life. We can only see it in parts. So maybe some other time I will talk about the Sumerian tablets and Anunnakis and the rest of it. But part of our today's conversation was focused on, does God make choice for us, or do we make choice for ourselves based off the partners that we choose? I'm doing fine, Charles Bunleb. I'll be thinking maybe on Sunday, I would look for a time to talk about it, because Sundays I like talking about religious perspective. Let me say this. One of the things that I understand about religion is that religion gives you what we call a belief system or a belief mindset. You cannot be religious without having a belief. The definition of a belief is a mental acceptance. So that simply means that most of the things about religion that you believe, you have never experienced it at all. You read it, you were taught, and you believe it. And because you believe what you have not experienced, how do you know if your belief is right or wrong? Now, I'm actually talking to Jaden Wells on this particular aspect. There's a difference being a seeker and there's a difference being a believer. A seeker The mindset of a seeker is I do not know. I am trying to learn something. The mind of a believer is I do not have evidence, but I know this is how it is. Who is a fool between a seeker and a believer? Look at the difference. Look at the definition. Belief simply means mental acceptance. I accept something that I have not experienced. They told me at some points in the Bible that this particular thing happened, and I'm not even making a research on it. How many Christians, how many religious people have taken out their time to go to the Jews, to go to the Israelites, to go to the Red Sea, to go to Jerusalem? How many people have taken that step? How many people have gone to the Ethiopians to look at the Ethiopian Bible? How many people have read beyond? You know, when people talk about religion, they think their Bible is big. Look at my own. This is my Bible. Very big. It's like I'm carrying 2 bags of pure water. But this particular Bible contains only 66 books. We have the lost book of the Bible. And if you look at the lost book of the Bible, you will realize a lot of stories. If you read the full passages, you would see that these things carry only few information. The problem of the believer is they don't do research anymore because they already believe this. They would never go further. Jeremy Wells says that, Rusty, we can both agree that a book cannot fight, so the imperfection is in us. The book does not necessarily have to fight. All the book has to do is to misinform. And for you to also understand that the same book does not exist except a man write it. Even God could not write a book. Let us even assume that the story of Moses is true. Let us assume that the story of Moses is true. Even when God was giving Moses the 10 commandments, God could have written it himself. Twenty-four News says that scientists never denied God, yet them still find faults. Well, everyone has an opinion. Absolutely. Something triggered this conversation. Our understanding, definitions, and doubts. Now, let me ask anyone who believes in God or not believe in God. I want to ask you just a simple question. This thing that religious people believe in, either it's a Quran, either it's a Bible, whatever it is this written by God or is this written by man? If the book is written by man, man is imperfect. Now, I can tell you this. There are a lot of practices. Okay, you agree it is written by men. There are a lot of practices that you do as a human being. There are times I do certain practices, and these practices, you go into a different dimension. In that dimension, you can ask me anything. I will tell you. What I don't know, I will tell you. But one thing is this. When I'm in that dimension, if you ask me to tell you what I am experiencing in that dimension, the words of my mouth can never be accurate. I can never put them in context or articulate my words to make you know exactly what I experience. Even when people become subconscious, or they become, sorry, unconscious, when people become unconscious and you ask them to tell you what they experience, a lot of them cannot explain exactly what they see, because the power of the tongue, or the power of the third dimension, cannot explain everything or articulate it in words based off what they experience. You see, only what I know and only what I can say is this: if the idea for you to know more in life is for you to become a seeker and admitting that you don't know, compare yourself to a believer who believes that they know everything based off what they've read. I am only asking a question: who would be wiser and who will remain stuck in life? Who would be wiser? Would a seeker be a wiser person, or a believer would be wiser? Who would be a wiser person? I can tell you one thing for a fact: if everyone has only believed in the scripture, if everyone has only believed in the scripture that has been written, oh, blood of God. As the man of thought, true. In order to seek anything, you must believe it to be true or false. For you to be a seeker, you don't have to believe anything. For you to be a seeker, you don't have to believe anything. What you have to do is to look into everything that I've been told, and you pick it in path. Now, let me say this: if I practice a particular kind of meditation and I have a particular experience in that meditation, I can tell you that I have done this particular meditation and this is my experience. I think if you try it, you most likely would experience the same thing. A believer will tell you that I experienced this particular thing. If you do it, you must experience this. There is a distinction. Just because I do something and I experience it, a seeker will tell you that this was my experience. It might not be totally or absolutely applicable to you. So a seeker does not give a law and principle, but gives you a dimension or things for you to think about and practice to see what your result is going to be. A believer will say, this is it, this is it. "24 Hours says, I'm not a religious person, but God is a personal encounter to me." Trust me, I haven't said God does not exist. I did not say God does not exist, because I always tell people this: a man who believes there is God and a man who believes there is no God, both of them are on the same boat, paddling into different direction. Because either we make decisions to say that God exists, or we say God does not exist. If God exists, it wouldn't stop him from existing because we decline or we deny the fact that God exists. Or if God does not exist, no matter our argument, it would not manifest God. I have backtested the Bible, Quran, and Juju, but put nah, the Spirit of God. Naim shall pass. It's a personal thing. I put it this way: most religious folks study one boom I have studied and soon to be reading the Torah, one book. Okay, one book. This is one philosophy that exists with most religion. The problem that I see with a lot of religion is that when you believe something, your pastors or your religious leaders gives you a mindset or a set of mind that you don't question things. When you believe something, you can't question it. So you see most people who go for Sunday school, what kind of questions they ask their Sunday school teacher are irrelevant questions. Not because there's no question inside of them, but they quench the desire. Pastors are to quench your desire to ask questions and to tell you you have to believe in something. And that stops men from evolving. Creed says, I have read the Quran, still doing more. Rusty says, religious folk dare not read another. Absolutely. To bring it into perspective, back to what we started, and which was the question that does God give partner or humans find partner? Let's give it few seconds. Please, everyone, choose your part. Let's see, maybe we are, and then we just further on that. Because I asked a question earlier. I said, if God gives partner, how do we find what God has given to us? And what if we have met what God has given to us and we've divorced or separated ourselves from our partner that God has actually given to us, which most religious people actually believe that God give partner? My question is this: if you had a partner and you have separated yourself from the partner that God has given to you, does God create option A, B, C, D? You said it's both. 24 News says it's both. Why did you say it's both? Creed and Rusty, you guys should not bother yourself. 24 News says it's both. That means that God gives partner and humans finds partner. It's time for us to learn something new. God can give you a partner, but it's up to you to receive that partner. Yes, that's what I'm saying. That means if God has to give you a partner, God then needs to does he create the partner? Let's just put it in that angle. So if God gives you a partner, and let's say you don't value that partner, basically because your perceptions about life is different. If God gave you a partner and you don't accept that partner, or you separate yourself from that partner, does God give you another partner? So that means, does God pick up another person that is suitable and it says, okay, this person should fulfill the gap? God has already created the person, but you have to find the person. 24 News, God has already created the person, but you have to find the person. Eh, Yeah, is what I would say. You don't know your partner if you don't know your vision. You don't know your partner if you don't have a dream. I repeat, you don't know your partner if you don't have a vision. You don't know your partner if you don't have a dream. God does not give you a dream. You have to build a vision for yourself. You have to have a dream. The universe may call upon you. You have an awakening, let's say, for the African culture. Your father and your ancestors, they are inside of you one way or the other. If nothing is believed to be certain, we will only produce doubt. Something must be true, false, and or unknown. Now, I'm asking a question, and I actually agree with most of the things you're saying. That means if we have to believe, if we have to know something, we have to believe something. Um, that angle is like we saying that there's a difference between knowing and there's a difference between belief. Belief doesn't mean you know. You can believe what you don't know. There's a distinction between knowledge, there's a distinction between wisdom, there's a distinction between understanding, there's a distinction between belief. Belief, if you look at your dictionary, belief simply means a mental acceptance. And whatever you believe does not necessarily have to be true. I could remember when I was young, then we used to sit down at the foot of my grandmother, which was my father's mother, and she tells us the story about tortoise, why the back of tortoise was broken, or the shell of tortoise, the back of tortoise is in different directions, or stuff like that. I so much I believed the story of my grandmother, that the tortoise fell from heaven because he ate all the food of all the old animals, and his back fell on the floor and it cracked. When I saw tortoise, when my father would take me to the zoo and I saw big tortoise, I looked at the tortoise and I said, "Tortoise, you are greedy." Then I graduated from that school of thought, and then I believed also in Santa Claus, and I so much believed in Santa Claus. Every single time when I see Father Christmas, Santa Claus, I believed it existed until one day came and I saw a man entered. I was in Mariford. I was in primary school. Mariford around 4. I was 4. I was in primary 4. And then I saw the man entered a place and it changed into Santa Claus. Then we were having end of the year party. That was the day I knew Santa Claus was a lie. I could have believed it for a very long time. Is that knowledge or belief? All the time I believed that Santa Claus was true, was that knowledge or was that belief? If I knew that Santa Claus was not the same Father Christmas I was seeing on the TV, and thinking that that particular individual was the one going around sharing gifts everywhere to mankind, what is the distinction between Santa Claus and God? They were almost in the same box in the eyes of children. Was that a belief or was that knowing? The day I knew, my eyes was open and I didn't believe what my grandma told me anymore. You don't have to believe. You can know without believing. You know, there was this stuff on Instagram. A baby was crawling And the mom kept drawing the baby not to go close to a candlestick. There was light on the candlestick. And what the baby kept doing was running towards the candlestick. And then the mom left the baby and just put on the camera. And then the baby puts a hand on the candlestick and the fire did its work. See how the baby crawled and ran away. That is knowing. That is not belief. Do you know who that is for? The enlightened one. Maliko Sondaya. The enlightened one says, the day people realize the lies they have believed, they might collapse. Absolutely. There is a reason why people attach themselves to beliefs. And belief is a disease, in my view. I didn't say it is a disease. I said, in my opinion, belief is a disease. Because you can hold on to that lies for too long. And when the truth is revealed to you, and you see you have been living a life of life for too long, it breaks you. "24 News says that don't go for a woman you like to try to God for the ones that like you. I learned this the hard way, and that is what God for me. I don't stress myself anymore about women." In life, what I always know is this. See, one thing about men and women, every single time we have made the wrong choice and we don't admit to our wrongdoings, we resort to hatred and anger. Every time you hate any creation of God, anytime you hate any mankind like you, it is simply because you have failed values, you have failed principle, you have failed everything, and basically because you are disappointed, and rather than you to reflect on yourself, you choose to blame somebody else, then you resort to hatred. Most times, let me say this, most times I am careful of using the word God whenever I speak to people. And the reason behind it is that every single person has a definition of God. When religious people talk about God, most of them see it in the angle of a big man, a very big boy who wears a crown, sitting on a horse, like someone in the beach, and commanding and say, you come here, you go here, you come here, you go here. Ha! I like seeing God as a principle between man and nature. There are certain laws and principles that is between man and nature. Whenever we fail or we miss the mark between the principle that guides us and nature, whenever we fail and we go to the left hand side or we are not on the right hand side, it stir up something inside of us, and it gives us the wrong emotions, give us the wrong perception, give us the wrong feelings, give us everything that is wrong, and most times we resort to hatred. Any man who tells me he hates a woman has made the wrong choice in his life and is not yet even reflecting on himself. Sounds like Putin. Sounds like Bill Gates. Because there's something that baffles me when it comes to the idea of men and women, that we are so grown up. We so much believe in God, in the idea of God, yet we do not even have a glimpse of his principle. The principle of God has never changed since the beginning of time. There must be a sperm and there must be a woman or whatever they have to be to produce a child. That principle has never changed. So how do you say you love God and you hate a woman, or you despise a woman? Or how do you love God and you despise a man? Or how do you love God and you say one person does not really count? Okay, 24 News has corrected me. It says, I mean, don't go for the women you love and they don't love you. Go for women that love you. It's a message. Thanks. Okay, I agree with you absolutely, completely. You guys would not leave Lisa alone. Now, here's what I would say. I've always said it, that there's a principle for you to find someone. Relationship for me, my perception on relationship, and when I say my perception, trust me, I don't know, but I know of certain principles that work. Some people that get to love themselves never love themselves initially. Believe in God, I laugh, even the devil. Okay, Lisa says, I'm listening and learning. I'm late to the party again. Oh, and Ron, good day. I always say this. When people say they have vision, most times when it comes to having a partner, most times a lot of people have a dream and a desire. When people say they have a vision, most times they have a dream and a desire, not a vision. What is a vision? Vision is most likely what you have for yourself and for the people, and it lasts a lifetime. It is something that you are committed to, and it lasts a lifetime. The reason why a lot of people are not able to get a good relationship or someone they can stay with for the rest of their life is basically because they don't have a vision, they only have a dream and a desire. And most times these dreams and desire are always selfish. When you truly have a vision, one of the people you can say have a vision, you can use people like Martin Luther King, you can use people like Nelson Mandela, because the vision those people have is something that lasts a lifetime and goes beyond them. It begins to flourish and exist after they are gone. If you have a dream, most times it is about what you want for yourself. Your dream is based off what you want for yourself, period. It is all about your desire. And if you look for a partner based off what you dream and what you desire, with time, it's going to change. If you find a partner based off a vision, it doesn't change because it exists even after both of you are gone. No wonder Abraham and Sarah, after Sarah died, the vision still continues. It has nothing to do with just you and this person. It's about what you both are doing for generations to come. The problem today is that, based off the education perspective on focusing on independence, you cannot be independent and have a strong vision. Let me go to what the enlightened one says. Enlightened one says, find a partner you are willing to suffer with. Everyone survives the good times in a relationship. It's the difficult times that defines and determines your relationship. If you suffer also without a vision, it is just going to be a pain. Why are you suffering with somebody? If there is no purpose, a vision behind the sufferness, you cannot bear for a very long time. Ah, 24 News says, bro, reduce your taste for women, forget Nicki Minaj and Kofa. Amen, brother. Okay, by any round. Now, see, most times I think there is always a step to the information we need to actually understand. And some of it is that, yes, it is important that we suffer with people. If there is no purpose behind the suffering, if there is no vision behind the suffering, we would back out. Every human's will. Whenever people go, okay, suffering descends on you magically. The purpose of suffering is in the experience. It's enlightening. Suffering descends on you magically. The purpose of suffering is in the experience. It's enlightening. The meaning behind the suffering is the purpose. Absolutely. You have to be able to distinct, why are you suffering with someone? What is the vision behind it? The vision must be beyond your genitals. It must be beyond that. And this is the reason why, as a lady or as a man, when you decide to go into a relationship, your partner has to know your vision. So people kind of ask, how do I know a man that I should get married to? Just look at the vision of the man. And ask yourself if you're willing to go through life with the vision of that individual. Do you believe in the vision? And understand that if a vision stops on the idea of you and him, just you and him, that's the vision, that's a dream. And everybody wakes up from their dream at some point. So I ask people, what do you want for yourself to exist before you? The problem of today's society is that a lot of people are focused so much on the idea of just me, just me, just me. Anything that has to be with just you. And you see, there are other things I can see in today's society that is beginning to spring up. The idea of saying that I just want to have enough so I can give to the world. And the question is, what are you actually giving to the world? And most people, all they can give to the world is material. If material is only what you can give to the world, only what you're doing is you're creating an addictive people. You're creating substance. You are more or less like a pharmacy, a pharmaceutical organization, but this time around it's just in the monetary way. If everything you can give to people is just money, food, clothes, and you can't nourish the soul, do something that transcend into the next generation, what you're giving is just so limited. Absolutely. Absolutely enlightened one. Everyone wakes up from their dream. I dream that one day me and you are going to buy Tesla. Let us say, me, I don't even know what kind of Tesla we have, because I've been hearing all kinds of Tesla. Let us say Tesla version 2. That's the vision, that's the dream that you have with your spouse, and you guys are getting married, and you say you're going to build a 3 or 5 bedroom flat with 4 kids. And then after you get it, you get the Tesla version 1, version 2, and then Elon Musk begin to produce Tesla version 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What it begins to do is it begins to create unnecessary pressure between both of you. Even if you are not thinking about it, subconsciously, it is working there. And then rather for you guys to enjoy your relationship, you have to create another dream, because you have woken up from the first one. It doesn't work. And then you have to go for another one. And then you start running the rat race. And in the rat race, everyone gets exhausted. I see what you mean. Creed says, I agree totally. LOL, I am going with Elon or Musk. Huh. With that being said, here is my advice. For those who believe that God is going to choose a partner for them, or God is going to give them a partner, you have to ask yourself, do you have the vision? Sometimes in life, you don't necessarily have to have a vision, because the problem is for people to really do have the vision. When all your life you have been told to do things for yourself independently. Every single time we are taught to do things independently for yourself, we have been taught to be greedy, to be selfish, to build a dream and have a plan. You can't have a vision, even though you might have a dream. The idea around it is to ask yourself, what will it mean to have a fulfilled life beyond my personal desires? You know, the beautiful thing about life that I know is that the amount of questions you begin to ask yourself, life knows how it begins to find a way to give you the answer if you are truly seeking for the answer. Some people do not know which man or which woman will fit their profile. If you want a man or a woman that fits your profile, you have to ask yourself, let us assume you do not have a vision and you only have a dream, because everyone has a dream. Even dogs have a dream. You have to ask yourself, what can I do that exists beyond me and goes through me to the next generation? And I'm not talking about Frederick Douglass Academy. I'm not talking about Dr. Umar Johnson's Frederick Douglass Academy. That's not what I'm talking about. That he has been building for over 13 years. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying that is just a dream. Frederick Douglass Academy, that is just a dream. You know why I say it's a dream? It is not a vision. Anything that chooses a part of one particular side and ignores the other side, whatever chooses a gender and does not include the other gender, is just a dream. No wonder it is difficult for it to actualize. Yeah. The idea is for you to ask yourself a question and keep asking yourself the question. The question must be beyond you. Because what you're trying to do is to transcend yourself. And the idea is this: when you desire something that is beyond you, you embody a large consciousness. And that consciousness, you see people who fit such a profile. I can say this categorically speaking. I am not a prophet, but I will tell you all this. Take it or you leave it. Most of the people who come to my channel are actually seeking and have been asking themselves a particular question, and that's why they get engaged to the channel. If your question is all about sexuality and sex and spending money, you wouldn't be on this channel. You might be on Fresh and Fit. The Enlightenment says that's why I say above politics and racial debate, there is no right and wrong, it's preferences. And I'm saying this: for some people, my channel might be the solution. For some people, my channel will be a step for them to get to the right person, to the maybe the next channel, to the next person. And after a period of time, they would get exactly what they are seeking for. For some people, just this place that you get to this channel, you have gotten the answer. But for some people, you have to go beyond this channel. But I can tell you, anyone who is engaged with my channel is basically because you're asking yourself certain questions. Because how do you know the question you're actually asking? You will see it in your interest. Whatever interests you is the subconscious question that you have been asking yourself. Anything that draws your attention is most likely the unconscious question you've been asking yourself. Most times, we don't ask questions deliberately. We ask them subconsciously. Some can be worried and they are seeking for answer, but there must be a question first. I haven't. I came for the LOLs. I stayed for the provocations and different perspective, but most of all because the algorithms recommended you. Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much, Peter. It is basically because the algorithm recommended. Okay, you're looking for drama. Your interest piques you. And the Enlightenment says you don't pick your interest piques you. You can't even make yourself interested in something. It's so difficult to pay attention. I'm surprised at the answer of Peter. You know, there was a great legend in Africa, and the legend is called Baba Fela. He once sang a song for Nigerian military and he called them zombie. And zombie, what he meant by the word of zombie, he says that zombies are those who cannot think for themselves. They only do according to what is given to them. How do you know a zombie? A zombie does not even know what he likes, what he doesn't like, why he clicked on what he clicked, what is actually looking for. He doesn't even know. If the algorithm makes choices for you and you can't even make choice for yourself, you have the answer. All I will tell you, Mr. Peter, is don't be unconscious. Be conscious a little bit. If you don't know what you're looking for, you will end in anywhere. It is simple. A man who does not know where he's driving to finds himself in any environment. I have a completely different viewpoint. That is why I come back. No, let me tell you something. You are seeking for an answer. You don't trust your beliefs. You don't even trust your perception. You don't trust your perception. And when you don't trust your perception, you want to question what you actually believe. And when you question what you actually believe, you're actually asking for something. When I speak, I don't speak basically because I know it all. I don't know anything. But I am sure sometimes that whatever is the principle that exists before my time and has always existed after years and years and years, I don't doubt those principles. If it has always, you see, I don't read Ecclesiastes and Proverbs for entertainment. I can read Genesis for entertaining myself, Exodus for entertainment. I don't read Ecclesiastes and Proverbs for entertainment. They are principles that have been existing since for a very long time and they still work till now. So I only live based off the principle that has existed for a very long time. If you don't trust the principle on what you choose to believe in, then that's when you see things to be people's perception. It's not about perception. Principle that actually exists, like when you sow, what you sow is what you reap. It is not a perception. There's time and season for everything. It is not a perception. When I speak on most subjects, I am working on the principle that exists. So I'm not speaking based off perception, I'm speaking based off principle. So you question your perception. I ain't questioning mine because the principle has existed thousands of years before you and I, and it still works till now. It's a simple. With that being said, for those who would seek for a partner in life, ask yourself of your vision in life, and you would see the man or you would see the woman that suits the profile for that vision that has the same thing. And Aaron says, man of thought ignites thought and the desire to seek truth. That's why I tell people to read, study. If you think you've read something, read more, study more, do the work. Because it is easy to rely on someone who told you they've done the work and so you believe what the person has said. No wonder a lot of religious people, they believe in their pastors and they only open the Bible when they go to church or according to the Bible passages that their pastor asks them to open. I'm always saying we have to work, we have to learn the principle, we have to participate in life. We can't be lazy. We can't use excuses to distract ourselves and say we are so busy and that's why life is complicated and all of that. If you follow the principles of life, you will see that life is not that complicated. There's nothing so big about life. If you think you have a purpose in life, your purpose is to live and die. Simple. The work of your hand is a different subject. But don't think that your work in life is to change the world upside down, is to drop. No, you have nothing to do. Your purpose is to live and die. Every single thing in life, plants and animals, they all live and die. You only have a period of time. And so God would not say because, or the life would not say because you have not fulfilled your purpose in life, let me give you more time. You're going to die. Do the work. The work is the story you tell after you're gone. Simple. Amazing. Oh, I have great fans. With that being said, if you're looking for a husband, please do not put your hope on God because you're going to be disappointed. Do the work of God. Follow the principle that exists. What our ancestors were able to do was to pick out certain principles that would exist for a very long time. The problem that came about relationship today is that we try to tweak and change the principle that has always exists. And when we try to change the principle that always exists because we think that we are wiser than life, we most likely might have issues. So let us follow those principles that stay for a very long time. I always tell people, if you're looking for a wife, if you're looking for a man, if you're looking for a woman, for me, first of all, you have to focus on the character of the person. You have to ask yourself, and I always say this, character is like a virus. If you have someone who has a very strong character and the character is desirable, is founded upon certain strong values, morality, and the rest of it, it will be enticing to you and it will force you to question yourself. The problem is that when we go after relationship or we seek after relationship with people, most times we are not focusing on the character of the individual, because the story that you are about to tell is always embedded in your character. The story you are about to tell is embedded in your character or in the character of the person you are seeking for. But when you make decision not to focus on people who have strong character and values and morals, then you are just going to see that people begin to switch from year to year. People begin to switch from year to year. I will tell you this. And I don't like blaming anybody, but I always say this. Most relationship, the women feel, and when I'm talking about women, there's a difference between girls and there's a difference between women. Most women feel like a man has already given up on them before they give up on the man. I'm not saying all, but most times. And the reason is basically because they cannot trust the character of the man. The man is the one to actually embody the vision. Let us put it this way, let us take the sake of the Bible. God has already given Adam a work. And so there was already a vision for Adam. One of the problem of Adam was he was supposed to take Eve and apply her to the vision. So when I go to the garden, or when I go for harvesting or planting or whatever, she wasn't part of the plan. She was not part of the vision, sorry. And when a woman actually sees that she's not part of a vision, it is very easy for her to walk away from the vision or from your plan in life. That advice is for men. When a woman, they say the idle work, the idle man or the idle hand is the devil's workshop. You do not say that. I could remember the conversation I had with the Enlightened One. Enlightened One specifically said something. He said, I am a man who has a plan. And when I have a plan, my wife would be the one to design my plan for me on how I should pursue the goal. She is very good at designing. What does it do? It matches a vision together. She has a purpose in his vision. With that being said, well, exactly. However, I believe theological viewpoints are different. To me, the most important rule is love thy neighbor. Okay, you might disagree on the morality of your neighbor, but that only demands me to love them more. That is why I think we should embrace anybody, no matter gender, sexuality, race. I agree with you, Mr. Peter. The only thing I'm going to tell you is this: whatever stops the flourishing of life should be the enemy of life. Whatever, I repeat it, whatever stops the flourishing of life it is an enemy of life. We might decide in the name of Jesus Christ, the Son of Nazareth, for us to make decision to hold each other's hand and sing kumbaya and the rest of it. Whatever stops humanity is an enemy to humanity. Our consciousness, our values, everything exists basically because of humanity. If humans do not exist, and I always say this, if humans do not exist, the world will flourish better than it flourishes now. Trees will grow everywhere. But any ideology, any principle that stops the principle of flourishing of humanity, that ideology is an enemy to humanity. So if you say that my viewpoint on sexuality, my viewpoint on sexuality is simple, very simple. A gay man and a gay man cannot produce children. Can they? If the answer is no, should they be encouraged? I would respect them for what they are. I would not encourage them. I would understand with them. I would not encourage them. No. Flourish. I didn't say procreate. Procreate is part of flourishing. Says let's hump like rabbits. That makes more sense. So I would respect them. I would assist them in the best way I can, but I wouldn't promote their ideology, because if I promote their ideology and it goes in every culture and tradition, and everybody begins to LGBTQ, RFSG, UVWXYZ, humanity will reduce. And if the population of humanity reduce, please tell me, what is the purpose of humanity? The only thing that has always, you see, the ideology of people who have ever said that humans are overpopulated, why do they stay where they are humans when we have vast of land that humans don't exist in? And if humanity are overpopulated, why can't you go? There's a difference when you say population control. I understand those aspects. Population control, I understand. But any ideology that is not about controlling, making sure we follow through certain principles so we flourish as people. That's why I use the word flourish. I'm not saying reprocreate. I'm like flourish so that we can grow. Consciousness have to grow. We have to evolve. So if that makes more sense, adios amigos. Thank you very much, Mr. Peter. With that being said, your partner is in your hand. Do the work and you will get it. Maybe some other time I would break more. I might dive deeper into other aspects, going from the religious angle. Oh, blood of Jesus, my battery is actually low. So hope to see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Have a great day. And please join my Sunday service. I have Sunday service every Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Join me. I am opening my own church. We have no purpose. Everything is meaningless. But homosexuality is something you are born with, not recruited to. And I agree with Rusty. Let us hump. All right, Mr. Peter. Everyone who has joined, thank you. Have a great night. Hope to see you tomorrow by 7 p.m. African. No, 5 p.m. African time. 5 p.m. Saturdays are always 5 p.m. Bye bye for now.